Yeshua. Come Yeshua. So all praise to the Most High. The sheep. And where the brother go? Killed off.
Mark.
Nah, it was another brother standing right here. Oh, you're right there. Okay, I was gonna quiz him, see what he learned. Hey, brother. Before you peel off, right, all praise to the Most High. What did you learn today before you peel off? Yeah, what did you learn today? All right, name. Now, you was up here for a minute. You was up here for a minute. Name 5 things that you learned.
Israelite.
Okay, that's right. From which tribe? Which tribe?
Tribe of Ephraim.
Tribe of Ephraim. Okay, all praise to the Most High. All right, what's something else that you learned?
I learned a lot, but I took a lot in, you know what I mean? I learned a lot.
Okay. Can we eat pork?
No.
No, why not?
Against God. It's against God.
That's right, it's against God. All right, that's right. Now, what is today?
Saturday.
You said what?
Saturday.
It's Saturday. But is it just a regular day? Or is it a specific holy day?
I'll be honest, brother. I couldn't even tell you, man. It's sad, but I couldn't even tell you.
It's Saturday. What's all good, brother? It's Saturday, but Saturday is known as God's holy day, called the Sabbath. Have you heard about the Sabbath? Heard about the Sabbath. Now, the Sabbath, what the world would tell you, is on Sunday. Right? They teach us on Sunday, got to go to the Christian church or Catholic church, and you got to give all your money out to the pastor. But really, the Sabbath day is actually Saturday, the 7th day of the week. Let's bring out on Exodus 20.
That's the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
So the Lord said that the 7th day, we go on your calendar, you see that the 7th day, the last day of the week, is Saturday. Saturday is the holy day unto the Lord thy God. Right, read?
In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
So it's so holy that the Lord said from the man of the house to the woman to the children all the way to the animals, no doing work. It's a sacred day, it's set apart. All right, now what's that? That's 3 things. Okay, you learned about the Sabbath, learned your nationality and the tribe. Now, why are people going to slavery? What do we do?
Slavery?
Yeah, why did all this happen to our people? What did we do wrong so all this had to happen to us?
Knowledge, right?
Say what?
Knowledge, right?
No knowledge, okay. No knowledge. Now that's you right to an extent, but what knowledge what knowledge were we missing? God's knowledge. Now what's God's knowledge? I mean, because I can say knowledge, and knowledge, I may say, well, you know what I'm saying, math, you know what I'm saying, mathematicals. I didn't know A squared times B squared, and then I went into slavery because I didn't know that. It's a specific knowledge that we miss. That knowledge was God's laws. Like how the brother was going over earlier, the pork, shrimp, crab, the lobster. Right, breaking the Sabbath day. You buying and selling on Saturday. You're doing all manner of mischief when you should be serving the Lord, being in the house, or coming out, waking up your people. Other things, eating, like I said, eating pork, shrimp, crab, shaving off our beards, not taking care of the household. All these different things had these things happen unto us because we separated from the Lord our God. Read this real quick.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 17, verse 11. Besides this, he gave them knowledge.
Gave them what?
He gave them knowledge.
What is the law?
He gave them knowledge.
So the Lord already gave us knowledge. Read on.
And the law of life for an inheritance.
And the what?
And the law of life for an inheritance.
So he gave us knowledge and the laws of life. Right, again, the laws that the brother went over earlier, that's our heritage. Right. Give me Jeremiah 17:4 real quick. Right, classic, Jeremiah 17:4. He gave us knowledge and the laws of life for an heritage. So meaning what? When we lose that knowledge, when we separate from the knowledge, these things happen unto us. Why? Because when you forget your maker, he ultimately forgets you. And when he forgets you, you have all type of spirits and nations that can come up against you. Because the Lord is our protection. And when you lose that protection, it just anyone can run up in that city and invade it. That's right. What happened to us, they ran up into our cities and they invaded us and they took us captives. Let's read this.
Right. Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
The Lord said we was going to discontinue from our heritage. What was that heritage? That knowledge of the laws. We discontinue from that heritage. Read on.
that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For he hath kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever.
And we kindle a fire in the Lord's anger that's always gonna burn until we come back to him. That makes sense, brother? All praise. You got any questions?
Nah, I'm good, bro.
You good? All right. So if you got any questions, you know what I'm saying, you got the flyer, look into it. Or, you know what I'm saying, if you keep standing up, you can go into it, etc. All right, but let's get the book of, let's see what I want to start off with. Let's get Isaiah chapter 5. I mean, not Isaiah 5, Job 5 and 19.
Bring it out.
And Isaiah chapter 65 and verse number 13.
Bring it out.
This is the book of Job, chapter 5, verse 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yeah, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee.
So ultimately, if we would have kept the laws, if we would have been in good graces with the Lord, no evil would have befell us. There would have been no such thing as slave ships. But they say $1,200. Can't really read there, but nevertheless, it wouldn't be sales for damn Negroes. It wouldn't be sales for the Ephraimites, God's chosen people. It wouldn't be no selling of the Simeonites, the Judites, the Levites, right? The Issacharites. The Lord said, read that again.
There shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword.
Because you had war that came upon our people. When you read about, you go into the history of 70 AD, you read about how they built walls around Jerusalem and starved us out through famine. And when we got weak, the Romans came in and they besieged us and destroyed us. And we go into that history, they said that was one of the worst famines that a nation ever went through, and one of the worst atrocities a nation has ever been through. And that happened to who? Our people. And again, it's a lot of history, you know what I'm saying, you can go into when you're learning about our people. Because while the Bible ultimately is a history book, it's not a book of religion or a book of fairy tales like they say. It's just Adam and Eve. It was an apple, a snake. Then you keep reading, and then Christ come into the scene, and now somehow he saves everybody. That's not what the Lord is talking about in this book. This book is your book. Whenever you want to learn about history, you can't depend on the so-called white man and white woman in these other nations to bring forth the truth, because they have no truth in them. Again, they already put you in slavery. They gave you Christianity. That's right. They told you Christ was a white man that loves everybody. When how can Christ have been a white man when a white race in itself is the most wicked race ever created? Right. Read on.
Right. Verse 21. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. Neither shalt thou be afraid of the beast of the earth.
The Lord said, but if you're with him, when that famine come, when all hell breaking loose, you running to and fro, the Lord said you're gonna laugh. Why? Because you're gonna have his protection round about you. Let me hold that. Give me Psalms 34:7. Right, give me Psalms 34:7. The angels of the Lord are round about them that fear him. Read this, Psalms 34:7.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 7. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him.
The Lord said,
the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him.
So the angel of the Lord, and again, the Lord, he has many angels. He has death angels. He has so-called guardian angels. The Lord said the angels of the Lord are gonna encamp a man right that fears him. And the fear of the Lord is keeping his commandments. The fear of the Lord is actually coming back to him, learning who he is. You gotta learn who your God is. Again, you gotta wash that. You gotta wash out that image of what people portray God to be. So-called white man with long hair, damn, all type of whatever the so-called church portray him to be. That's not it. The Lord is actually a man of war. Brother, let's get that in Exodus 15:3. Right, we gotta know who our God is. The Lord is a man of war that don't play. Now give me Numbers 23, and I'm gonna get us verse 10. Read this.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 3. The Lord is a man of war. Yahweh is his name.
So the Lord is a man. The Lord is a man of war. The Most High gets down with war and bloodshed. When you read the precepts, all you read about, no, not all you read about, but a lot of times you read about is the Lord putting the wicked to death, setting up other nations, putting down other nations, right? Building up a kingdom and breaking down the kingdom. Read this real quick and what you got.
Numbers chapter 23, verse 10. Who can count the dust of Jacob? Verse 19, and read. God is not a man that he should lie.
How you doing, brother? You see yourself in the sun? Your race, what this world will call you? You said Judah? African American?
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say. Now let me ask you this: do you believe in the Bible?
Absolutely.
Now in the Bible, you read about. You can flip this real quick, Bubba. Sure. In the Bible, the Lord created 18 nations of people, right? And every nation is still on this earth to this day. No nation kind of disappeared off the face of the earth and went extinct. So all these nations that you see on this sign, they're still walking today.
Right.
We have to find out who these nations are. Now, if I was to ask you what's your race according to the Bible, and you had to pick one of these out, which one would you say your race is? Go back to Jeremiah 17:4.
I'm still trying to figure out.
Hey, that's what we're trying to figure out. So we're trying to figure. You said what?
Put.
You said put? No, not put. Not put. Want to guess again? Or you want us to bring it out?
Bring it up.
Bring it out.
This the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage.
So the Lord is talking to the Israelites. He told the Israelites, thou, even thyself, is going to discontinue from your heritage. Now, your heritage consists of a culture. It consists of a flag, certain traditions that you may do. These are a diet, what you eat. These different things consist of a culture. If I was to go to the so-called Chinese community, they still have their culture, right? They got so-called East Indian men. They got the red dot and the garments that they wear. All these different nations, they have their culture, but the Israelites don't have a culture. Their culture got cut off. Now, if I was to ask you what nation of people got cut off from who they are through slavery, through oppression, what nation would you say? Blacks. Now again, our heritage got cut off, like I said, through slavery, rape, rob, and murder, oppression for over 400 years.
Right.
Right, read on.
Right. Shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
And now this same people, remember he's talking to the Israelites, this same people is going to serve their enemies. Read on.
In the land which thou knowest not.
Now, if you ask me, this sounds familiar. It sounds like that this happened to a nation of people already. They got cut off, right? They don't know their heritage. Now they're serving their enemies in a land that they never knew. What nation of people does that sound like? It sounds like us. But remember, he's talking to the Israelites. So now, that's us. So if I was to ask you again, what nation would you come from, who would you say? The Israelites. The top one.
You know what's crazy? I thought this was the title at the top. That's why I didn't name it.
See that? That top, hey, brother, what you gonna come to find out is that you actually come from the top nation. The greatest people that God ever created, known as the Israelites. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 2. Brother, the truth is out in the last days. You are an Israelite according to the Bible. You're not a black man. Not a nigga.
That term didn't come out till like what, 18 something?
Yeah, that term African American and black, these are all new terms.
Yeah.
And the Lord from the foundation never called nobody a black man or a nigga.
Yeah.
Tell me, hey, shalom, nigga. The Lord wasn't saying shalom, niggas. Let's get Acts 13:1 real quick. The people in the Bible said what? the people in the Bible is called niggas. Now when we read about the Bible, you read about the Israelites, our people, being in captivity or in slavery under other nations. All throughout the Bible, we in the Babylonians, right? We in the Assyrian, we in the Egyptian, all these different Persian, the Achaemenid Empire, all these different times, all throughout the Bible, the Greeks, the Romans, you read about our people being in slavery. Now in the Bible, you're gonna learn that there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
They call
Solomon said that, right?
That's right. Solomon said that, right? Ecclesiastes, the 1st chapter. Now, again, we read the Bible. It got history that plays back. So certain labels that they called us aforetime in the old so-called old times, they still call us that to this day. I'm gonna read you one of those labels. Let's read this.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simeon.
Now you have Barnabas and Simeon, who are actually Israelites. The church called them the Jews, or certain people they label them as Jews. Now let's see what they called these Jews. Read on.
that was called nigger.
That was called what?
That was called nigger.
What's the Jews called?
That was called nigger.
You had people in the Bible that was called nigger. The Jews was called nigger even from the foundation.
Yeah.
That's in the Bible.
Yeah.
Now why aren't they reading Acts 13 and verse 1 on down in the Bible?
Because in
the
I
church.
heard that preachers can't read certain parts of the Bible.
They can't.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's nothing but truth. And
Since I was a child, that was weird to me because I never understood why we didn't read it in order. I always used to ask, why don't we read it in order? Like, it's a book. You can't understand a book reading it chopped up like that. Can't you just they misinterpreting the meaning? Like, that's right.
Hey, in church they say, you know what I'm saying, when you want to get close to Jesus, don't even read the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Just read the New Testament.
That's crazy.
What did the Lord say? Hey, just, you know what I'm saying, just read the New Testament.
Oh, man.
You got, first of all, the so-called Old Testament is more books, is more, you got the Old Testament, the so-called Apocrypha. It's more books within that than the New Testament itself. So why would I read the smallest section of the Bible?
Because they don't want you to have they don't want you to get into the knowledge.
That's right, let's get Job 8:8. But the Lord we read the Bible, it contradicts the church.
Yeah, it does.
Even though the church say they read the Bible, they do these certain things, they don't really follow it. Job 8:8, and let's get Psalms chapter 76. Psalm 76.
This is the book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age.
So the Lord told Job to inquire of the former age. Inquire meaning to search out. The former age is the things that's behind us. Search out the past. We don't.
And prepare thyself to the search of their father.
Don't give a damn.
Prepare thyself to the search of their father.
The Lord said, prepare yourself to the search of your fathers.
Right.
Okay, and now I know my history go back. So-called they say the slavery, but some telling me that I was more than just a slave. Some telling me I was actually, because again, every nation got their so-called globe. You know, you got the so-called Chinese man, he had his certain dynasties. So-called white man, he was ruling at the time with the Greeks and the Romans. He had his glow up. You had the Babylonians, they was in rulership. Every nation got that time to where they rule and they show forth their power. Hey, it was one point in time where the Israelites turned back around. Right, it was one point in time where our people, we was in rulership. We had kings. It's a book in the Bible called 1st and 2nd Kings.
Yeah.
And those kings, brother, that's our ancestors. Right. But guess what? They're not going to tell you that in church. You read about Hezekiah, right? Have you heard about King David? Yeah. King David was a so-called black man. King David was from the tribe of Judah. Right. You have King Solomon, the most wisest man that ever walked the earth, and the most wealthiest man to ever live. Right. You have King Josiah, perfect, blameless in the eyes of the Lord. King Asa, in the first year of his reign, you start throwing out the sodomites out the land. Right. You start cleansing the land. You had these different kings that came from our people that was set up in righteousness, ruling. But again, they're not going to tell you these things in churches. So what the Lord told our people to what? To inquire of the former age. It's up to us. School not going to do it, right? The pastor, he's not good. The principals, these different men are not good. It's up to us. That's why when we learn this, we learn all this knowledge, we have to come out. Brothers have to make the posters and the signs. We say, hey, we got to spread forth this knowledge. My fault. Right? We got to spread forth this knowledge. Lord willing, we find out one brother that's going to come up and listen. And all praise to the Most High. We got a couple brothers that came up and listened. So let's read this.
Psalm chapter 77 verse 5. I have considered the days of old.
The Lord said,
I have considered the days of old.
That again?
I have considered the days of old.
Read.
The year of ancient times. Right. I have called to remembrance the song in the night. Right. I have communed with my own heart. Right. And with my own spirit to make diligent search. And I have called to remembrance the song in the night. I have communed with my own heart. Right. And my spirit made diligent search. He said, I commune, I was thinking upon my bed, then my spirit started making diligent search. Right. A diligent search is you eager to find out. He said, my spirit made diligent search to find out these different things. And so let's get Psalms chapter 143. I believe that's verse number 5. Read up. Right? And once you learn this, you want to be able to say, hey, I actually remember where I came from. Right? My heritage. Right? The nation. Right? Read.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 143, verse 5. I remember the days of old.
The Lord said,
I remember the days of old.
So after you learn all this, you want to be able to say, hey, I actually remember the days of old. I remember my King David, I remember that. Me being a king and a ruler, hey, I remember that. But again, it all goes back to us knowing that we're the Israelites, God's chosen people. Now, let me ask you this. If we are the Israelites, God's chosen people, right, the best people set above everybody. You go back to Deuteronomy 14:2. Yeah, I never brought that up. Go back to Deuteronomy 14:2. If we're such this peculiar people, this different nation, holy, set apart, how did all these atrocities, right, befall us, or atrocities befall us? Sin. It says sin. That's right. Hey, that's right. Straight to the point. Sin. We went against our God. Let's read this real quick.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verse 2. Yeah. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
So this people is holy. Holy means set apart. Different. Right. These people are holy unto the Lord. Read on.
And the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, right, above all the nations that are upon the earth.
Right, above all the nations that are upon the earth, a peculiar people, set apart. Now again, remember, right? Remember, if the Lord said we're peculiar, but like you said, when we stray away from the Lord, we start indulging in sin, the Lord, he departs from us. I'll show you that. Let's get this Daniel 9 and 11.
Daniel chapter 9 verse 11. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law.
Transgress means to sin. So the Lord said all Israel have sinned and broken God's laws. From the first tribe, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, all the way to Issachar, all Israel have transgressed the laws of God. Right, read.
Even by departing, right, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us.
The Lord say,
therefore the curse is poured upon us.
So because we separated from the Lord, he said, therefore the curse is poured upon us. I mean, there's no other, if you ask me, there's no other people on this earth that's more cursed than the so-called black and Hispanic man, woman, and child.
That's right.
I mean, getting put into slavery, but getting put on a slave ship, you got women, they have their menstrual cycles on top of one another. You on the damn water for months, you throwing up on one another. There's no bathroom, right, or you peeing, it's a dung all over the place, rat infested. If you ask me now, that's a curse. Yeah. When a whole nother nation that's inferior to you, the so-called white man, when he's inferior, and he can just come on a boat, one white man, and then you got brothers that's 6'5", 6'10", pure muscle, warriors, and you got a nasty little white man with glasses and one whip, and he got them all in order. Right. That's what you call a curse. Right, bald head.
Our kids were stronger than a white man.
That's right.
It's like 10 to 12 years old, stronger than them.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Because when you read the Bible, it kind of differentiates things and let you know when it says like a normal man can rip Samson can rip a lion in half, like a normal man can rip a sheep in half. And I was like, a normal man can rip a sheep in half? They must have been a different type of normal man back then.
Yeah, hey, bro, what you gonna come to find out is that back then everything was different. Yeah. Right, man, back then they used to live up to, now it's actually it's true, right, 900 years old, because again, we gotta remember, everything was more natural. Now everything is GMO. Yeah, we eat it all the time, you got GMO. You damn go on TikTok, you trying to find something to laugh at. Then you see a damn TikTok where they show you how to make the GMO food and it's worms all in the food and all, and then all of a sudden you just want to.
Honestly, I'm outside of this.
I see that.
So this right here is what I'm actually trying to get to, because I know the world's changing right now. I know something crazy is coming. Like I can see the spirit. I can feel that. Like,
hey. And brother, what you're noticing right now is the biggest wake up known to mankind. When the God's chosen people in the last days, let's get that in Hosea 1 and 10 real quick. The classic. Hosea chapter 1 and verse 10. Right, let's get that in Ezekiel 37 and verse number 1. Ezekiel 37 and 1, Hosea 1 and 10.
This is the book of Hosea chapter 1 verse 10.
Because this book is prophecy. It's a living book. Men from the past foretells what things happened in the past, with the time period that they're living in now and the future. So we're about to read about one of the prophecies that's written up in the Bible. Read this.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
Right, because they call us the minorities, when really we're as the sand of the sea. You can't count the sand of the sea. I mean, just first of all, you got sand on land. You can't even count the little particles that's on land, let alone the rest of the sea. So our people as the sand of the sea, read on,
which cannot be measured nor numbered.
Right?
And it shall come to pass,
meaning it will happen in the future. It shall come to pass. Read on.
that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people.
In this same place, America, where we're called niggas, spics, African Americans, where we're not called God's chosen people. Read on.
There it shall be said unto them,
In this very same place, it will be said what?
ye are the sons of the living
The
God.
Lord said,
Ye are the sons of the living God.
just niggas.
Ye are the sons of the living God.
This same place we're gonna be called the sons of the living God.
Right.
And brother, like I said, when you keep going into the research, you see certain white people bowing down to so-called black people, saying, man, hey, you're right, my fathers inherited lies, you guys are the Israelites. Right? You see certain videos of people just bringing, I heard a brother tell a story, a brother back in Baltimore, he said he had so-called white man in his DM trying to buy him things and be a servant because he know that his fathers inherited lies. And it's a big recompense coming to the white race. A white man said that to a brother that knew he was an Israelite. So this same place we're going to be known as the sons of the living God. The Israelites, God's actual chosen people. And guess what? All these people, the so-called white man, Chinese man, the Arab man, all the atrocities that they commit on our people, it's coming back to them 7 times fold. Let's read this. What I got you over.
That's what they're trying to
The
stop.
book
That's
of
what they're trying to stop.
Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 1.
Bring it out.
Chapter 37, verse 1. The hand of the Lord was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about.
Right?
And behold, there was very many in the open valley.
So this is the open valley. The Lord said he placed Ezekiel in an open valley full of dry bones. This is a lot of dry, how you doing, brother? This is a lot of dry bones. People that don't got that true water and that knowledge. People that's walking to and fro, they thinking they black. I mean, and it's crazy to think, but that's the much yeah, men are making themselves black. Now, if you was gonna call yourself a color, you know what I'm saying, you call yourself brown. But again, we go into that word black. It literally means to be deprived of light, wicked. Everything pertaining with black is wicked. It's got a black cat, black magic, right? Blackmail. All these things pertaining to black is wicked. But then white, though, so-called white man, who's really, in all honesty, is red, he's pink, right? But he called himself white.
That's what they originally were. They called themselves redmen for Rome.
That's right. You got them down south. They call themselves rednecks.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're literally, that's what they are. But they call themselves white. Why? Because white, it represents purity, holiness, without spot, clean. And these are our different the terms that they use in our mind. Nevertheless, when you call yourself black, you walk into and fro, you strung out on drugs at a bus stop. This is what you call the valley of dry bones. Right, read. Right.
And lo, they were very dry.
Right.
And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live?
Right.
And I answered, O Lord Yahweh, thou knowest.
So we asking, hey, can these bones live? Can a so-called black and Hispanic man wake up and come back to their true nationality? And the Lord, hey, Ezekiel said, hey, only you know, Mosai. Hey, the Father that created all things, only you know. Right, read.
Again he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the words of the Most High. Thus said the Lord Yahweh unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you.
Now, this is that breath entering into us. Because in all honesty, everybody up here was dry bones. In all manner of wickedness. Whoring out our sisters. All strung out on drugs. Gang banging. Right? Every brother up here was a dry bone. Until the Lord, he breathed that breath of life into us. Right, read.
Behold, I will cause breath to enter up into you, and ye shall live. I will lay sinew upon you, and I will, verse 6, I will lay, verse 10, Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 10. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived, and stood up on their feet, an exceeding great army.
What are we?
An exceeding great army.
Read that again.
An exceeding great army.
So the Lord said that breath came into these people, and they stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army. That's what you're seeing in the last days. Like you said, you feel like it's something that's happening. Well, the Lord is raising up an exceeding great army. And don't think it's just us up here that just know this knowledge. It's brothers out the four corners of this world. I mean, you got brothers in England, on the streets with the signs, teaching that we the Israelites. God shows. We got brothers in Mexico, right? Teaching, you know what I'm saying, bringing out in the Spanish, telling the so-called Mexicans that they're they're from the tribe of Issachar. That's right. Brothers from Trinidad. Where you got the brother?
I'm half.
You said what?
Yeah.
You have Trinidad?
Yeah.
Hey, you got brothers down there in Trinidad bringing out the work. You got family in Trinidad? Hey, you can probably lock in with this brother. You know brothers in Trinidad.
Diamondsville.
Huh?
Diamondsville. They live in Diamondsville. You know that?
Yeah, that's not far from the brother.
Yeah, see that? Yeah. So it's brothers down there in Trinidad on the streets bringing out the word. We got brothers in England, hey, and namely the Americas as well. Where we at? From around the four corners of America, you have people bringing out the word, prophesying the downfall of America for what they have done to our people.
That's right. Is America the lion-like lamb?
It's the what?
Is America the lion-like lamb?
Yeah. You just going into
You got your camera on you. It's the Trinidad link.
All right.
Yeah, it's a link. You know, and I think it's linked to the YouTube. Hover over it, go press it up. Post up the YouTube. Yeah. Trying to show your family that I can get you in contact with brother now.
See that? It's all praise to the Most High.
Right.
All praise. Right, and I actually got a book. You can grab that book back real quick.
Oh, you got a Bible?
No, I ain't got. Lord, I wish I had one. Yeah. I wish I had an extra Bible. Do we got extra Bibles? Yeah, extra. I would have saw
Yo. That's the extra Bible.
But somebody, give me Jeremiah 28 and verse 8 real quick.
28 verse 8.
I'm studying it right now. I'm still in the beginning. I'm still like in Genesis.
You got a Bible in the car. If you want to wait, you're going to get it.
While you're looking for that, like I said, brother, if you want to be a part of that army, because we all want to be a part of that army, there's certain requirements. The Lord got a spiritual boot camp that we got to go through. It's called enduring all things. Now again, when you want to come back to the Lord, you have to start keeping His laws, His statutes, and commandments. We read in Daniel 9:11 that curse was put upon us because we sinned against the Lord. You can hold that. Give me 1 John 5:3. Let's see what sin is. Let's see what, because again, if we sinned against the Lord, surely we have to know what sin is in order to turn that sin to righteousness. Not turn sin to righteousness, but to turn away from sin. Read this.
This is the book of 1 John chapter 3 verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law.
Right.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
So sin is the breaking of God's laws.
That's right.
We committed sin, meaning we broke God's laws.
That's right.
Now if we broke God's laws and that was going to put us into slavery and captivity and to being at the bottom of society, how do we get back up in society in the good eyes of, and be on God's right hand side? How do we do that? By doing what?
Following His laws.
By following His laws.
Right.
By following God's laws. Now let's get 3 laws. Let's get Leviticus 19. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 14. We're gonna read you some simple laws that our people break on a daily. Now it's not, you know what I'm saying? We're not gonna just get on our people, they doing A, B, and C, they wicked. We know that we go off, because we was once there. But it's the small things that matter. We're gonna read about these very small laws that we break every day that's holding our people in this captivity. Let's read this.
This is the book of Leviticus chapter 19 verse 26. Ye shall not eat anything with the blood,
Right?
neither shall ye use enchantment,
Right.
nor observe time.
So something as small as eating food eating meats with blood in it. Right, like so-called steak. Talking about medium rare. It still got the little blood in it. Now the Lord said that's off. Right, read the Bible, the Lord's not dealing with man eating blood, because it's life in blood.
Yeah.
So you want to cancel it, cook your food all the way. Right, that's right. And then it said what? Read that latter part.
Neither shall ye use enchantment, nor observe time.
Also observing times. Observing times meaning you are into astrology. On the left hand side, you see, you looking at the stars. You say I'm a Pisces. That star right there, so I may be a Virgo. So if I'm a Virgo, I can't be with a Cancer. I'm a Virgo.
Yeah,
That's off.
Yeah.
When did the Lord say, well, if you're a Cancer and you're a Sagittarius, then that means, okay, that go right there. And then you just start freaking off with the stars. The Lord not dealing with that. Yeah, horoscopes. The Lord not dealing with horoscopes. Now you did have certain people, namely the tribe of Issachar, they read the stars and the Lord would show them when it's time to go to war. Now you can, you know what I'm saying, look at the stars and, you know what I'm saying, give praise to the Lord, but you don't want to idolize the stars as if they're gods.
Yeah, because that's God's work.
That's God's work. The Lord created the stars, but yet you're worshiping the stars that He created. That's off.
Yeah.
That's like you make a painting and somebody else, they come and worship the painting.
Yeah.
Well, you say, hold on, well, I made the painting. If it wasn't for me, this painting would have been here. They say, to hell with you, this looks and they start lusting after the painting. So let's read this.
Verse 27, ye shall not round the corners of your heads,
Right.
neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard.
So this is another simple commandment, no shaving off your beard. Why? Because we go into the attributes of a beard. The beard is a manly dignity. Women can't grow beards. You have a lion. Our people are compared to as lions.
Right.
When you read, I'm gonna paraphrase Proverbs 30 and 30. The Lord said a lion turns not away from any. Right, and that's all. Huh? You can bring it out. Let's bring it out real quick. A lion has its mane. And that's how you tell the difference from a male lion from a female lion is by the mane. The Lord compared our people as lions, namely our men. So the Lord wants us to grow that beard. Let's get Psalms 130. You can hold that. Give me Psalms 133:1.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 30, verse 30.
Right.
A lion which is strongest among beasts.
The Lord said again, everybody in every nation is compared to as a certain animal, beast. But the Lord said that our people were the lions. He said lions were the strongest among beasts, meaning we're strongest among every nation. Read on.
And turneth not away for any.
And what?
And turneth not away for any.
The lion took his tail.
And turneth not away for any.
Right? It said, and turneth not away from any. That's our people. Let's read about your forefather, Aaron. Now, Aaron came from the tribe of Levi. Modern day, they would call him a Haitian.
Right.
But the Lord calls him Israelite from the tribe of Levi. We're going to read about our forefather, our ancestor, Aaron. See how he looked.
Psalm chapter 33, verse 1.
Right.
Behold, verse 2. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that run down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard.
So Aaron had a beard, the oils, because he was a priest. He had to deal with certain things. Right, read.
That went down to the skirts of his garment.
That what?
That went down to the skirts of his garment.
So you had Aaron, his beard was so long it went down to the skirts of his garment. So Aaron, you know what I'm saying, Aaron was in the spirit. Now we're not saying you have to grow your beard all to your foot. I'm saying you can have it, you can trim it up, you can keep it short, you can grow it. But it's not supposed to shave it off or shave into it. So if your beard line all the way out here, but you shaving it's like a little chin strap that's off. You wouldn't be able to grow your beard out if you were able to. See, I'm still trying to get in there, you know what I'm saying? Certain brothers still trying to get in there. Other brothers, they're already in there, you know what I'm saying? Nevertheless, if you are able to grow it, you know what I'm saying, you want to be able to grow that thing. Now let's go back to Leviticus 19.
Right. Verse 28.
Right?
Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead,
Right?
nor print any marks upon you.
What that sound like? No printed marks upon you. Tattoos. That's right. Now, there's a lot of brothers up here that got tattoos.
Yeah.
brothers got, you know what I'm saying? Brothers ashamed. He said what?
What do I do? How do I?
Well, that's what grace come in at. You got a precept come. That's what grace come in at. Why? Because you got the Lord, who the world calls Jesus Christ, who real name in the Hebrew.
Yahshua HaMashiach, correct?
Close. Yeah, Yahushua HaMashiach. HaMashiach. That's how you say the anointing. Yeah, we got the sign.
What sign?
The Hebrew sign.
There's one right here though.
So I'm pronouncing it wrong. Yo, say it one more time.
Yahushua. Come on, turn
Right
it
here.
around. I'm gonna show you. Yahushua. That paint now, what you said, you're not far, but that's what I'm pretty sure you heard the so-called Jewish man, right? The white man that's in our land that they stole. And what's that? Was that 1948? Where they stole our land? 1948. In 1948, they made a decree. Now, that's not in the Bible, right? Where in the Bible did it say sign a paper, and now this is your land? If they're the real people, they stole that land. They kicked us out, and now they dwell there. That same people, they have a language called Yiddish, which is like an off Hebrew. Yes, it's a modernized Hebrew. It's not the Paleo ancient Hebrew. Now that Paleo ancient Hebrew, his name would be Yahushua. Yahushua. This is how you would say it. Yahushua. Right? There's no so what's called vowels.
Right, there's no
Yeah, vowels. Yeah, there's no vowels.
There's no vowels, right? There's only 22 letters in Hebrew, right? Something like that. There you go. 22 letters. 22, right?
Oh, that's what And brother had a pocket rocket, you know what I'm saying? Bible for you. little pocket rocket. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
Appreciate you guys.
always gotta have the pocket rockets, man. You always
Gotta
gotta.
have a little pocket. Like demons anyway.
Yeah, but nevertheless, right here you got the characters right here as well. You got the different characters. Now the Hebrew is different. It's actually written from right to left. Left to right. That's where it's written from left to right. Well, on your side it would be so his name would, this would be the Yah, the Ha, the Wa, the Shah, and the I. Yahweh Shah. That would be the name of the son. That means, let's get Matthew chapter 1 and 21. Matthew 1 and 21. Matthew 1, you can drop those other precepts. Let's get Matthew 1 and 21. Right, his name will be Yahweh Shah, which means he delivers or he saves.
Matthew chapter 1 verse 21. And she shall bring forth the son, and thou shalt call his name Yahweh Shah.
Right, and back then names had meanings. So Mary said his name, well, the angel said his name shall be Yahweh Shah. Let's see what that means.
And thou shalt call his name Yahweh Shah,
Right.
for he shall save his people
Shall save his people, read,
from their sins.
from their sins. Again, that name means he saves or he delivers. He shall save his people from their sins. That's why.
Salvation.
Say what?
His name means salvation, right?
Salvation. Well, yeah, you can say salvation. He saves, he delivers. Right, and then you have the name of the Lord, the Most High. Let's get Psalms 83 and verse number 18. His name means, well, his name is Yahweh, which means he exists or he is. Why? Because he's the Ancient of Days. It's just he is, he exists.
That's right.
There's no, you can't damn date back what a Most High God was created. That's why his name is just he is. So let's put it. We got a precept. I'm bringing this out real quick.
Psalms chapter 83 verse 18. That man may know that thou whose name alone
His name alone, because nobody has this name. His name alone is what?
is Yahweh.
It's what?
It's Yahweh.
It's Yahshua.
It's Yahweh.
It's Yahweh. Bring out your precept.
Alright? It's Isaiah chapter 57 verse 15.
Bring it up.
For thus saith the high and lofty one that inhabiteth eternity.
Now what?
That inhabiteth eternity.
No, he has an actual day.
That inhabiteth eternity.
So the Lord inhabits eternity.
That's right.
And I'm saying, if you're trying to dwell on that, that's gonna bug you out. Okay, eternity. So let me
makes
just.
sense to me, though.
It makes sense though. He's forever. Hey, he is. He exists. That's it. That's it on it.
The beginning and the end.
The beginning and the end. That's right. Now again, going back to the commandments. Go ahead. 14. Deuteronomy 14. That's another commandment. Now we learned about the beard, the eating meats, all these different things. Now we about to get into the dietary. What our people eat on an everyday. When the Lord said it was a sin, but this so-called society teaches us it's a delight, a delicacy, it's a good so-called good eats. Let's read this.
Deuteronomy chapter 14 verse 8. And the swine.
You know what?
And the swine.
What is the pork?
And the swine.
What is the pig?
And the swine. Because it divided the hoof, yet showeth not the cud, it is unclean unto you.
Right.
Ye shall not eat of their flesh.
Have a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Ye shall not eat of their flesh.
The Lord said, ye shall not eat of their flesh. No pork. Pork is actually a sin, according to the Bible. You don't eat that? How about you, brother? You eat pork?
I try not to, bro. Today I had a little bit, bro.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I try not to, bro.
I understand, but again, the Lord.
When it's like last thing type shit to be.
Well, yeah. So you want to know? Well, you want to actually put in that action to not eat pork, because the Lord, He does and says everything for a reason. Now you got so-called things that back up why the Lord said, because the Lord, He don't have to explain Himself. Well, don't eat pork because we go into it, and then He start breaking down why I eat pork. We have science and these different things that the Lord created for us to go into. And when you go into the science, you go into the actual build of the pig, you find out that it's the most disgusting land animal ever created.
Right.
A shrimp. That's right. They do the same thing. The pork cleans up the different filth of the earth. You could, like the brother went into earlier, the cartel, when they want to hide a body, or not just but anyone, if you want to hide a body, you get away evidence, you throw it into the pigs. They gonna do their thing. I seen a video of a dead rat that had maggots in it, and the dude wanted to feed the pigs. All he did was throw the pigs the damn rats, and they ate it like it was nothing. I seen a video of a pig eating another pig while it was alive. And again, the pig, that's what they do. You can't blame that. They're created to clean up the dirt. Right. Again, you had in the so-called in the book of Matthew, that you had a man. He had a herd of swine. He was walking with them. Why? Because as they walking, they picking up. That was a so-called tragedy back then. Yeah. You just take all the pigs, you walk with them, they just eat up anything. So again, that's why the Lord said don't eat it, because it's abominable, it's bad for us. Right, read.
Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their carcass. Right. These ye shall eat of all that are in the waters.
Now it's going into the waters. Let's read them.
All that have fins and scales shall ye eat, and whatsoever have not fins and scales.
So whatever has fins and scales, we can eat it. So the Lord said, also what have not fins and scales, ye shall not eat. Now what's some things that have fins and scales?
Crab, all them.
Well, they don't have fins and scales.
Yeah.
But what about what does have fins and scales? Salmon.
Right.
White fire. Yeah.
Snapper.
Red snapper.
Yeah.
You got some?
That's what I
Tilapia.
Yeah.
Again, you got the Lord. The Lord is a just balance.
Right.
He's gonna have the clean fish. He's gonna have the fish that clean up the dirt. You got catfish.
Yeah.
Catfish you can't eat. Why? Because it doesn't have because the Lord said don't eat it. It doesn't have. It has fins. It don't got scales. No scales. I seen a video. You had somebody poured Coca-Cola into a hole, and that catfish came up drinking a Coca-Cola.
Oh, right.
Yeah, ready for it.
I don't drink that shit.
Yeah. So the Lord not dealing with fish drinking Coca-Cola. Or you want to make sure that whatever fish you do eat is clean. Got both fins and scales, like you said, the red snapper, the perch, the salmon. Right? No sharks.
Trinidad, that's big in Trinidad.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You see that? Yeah, no shark. Sharks in Trinidad. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, no shark tail. No, yeah, shark tail.
And whatsoever have not fins and scales, ye may not eat. It is unclean unto you. It is what? It is unclean unto you.
Most of it is unclean. Now these are simple things that we can follow. And again, the things that don't got fins and scales, like you said, the shrimp, crab, the lobster, these different things the Lord said don't eat. But what happened? America said, well, you know what? I know the God of the Bible, the same Bible that we put our hand on and swear by, the same Bible that we break and we kill and slay unjust people every day, even though it says that I'm gonna make this same thing that the Lord said don't eat, and I'll make it a delight.
This shit is satanic.
It's satanic. And guess what they do? They up because everybody know these nations, they study our people. Yeah. They up the price. They call it a so-called goodies to make it a delicacy to why people want to get it. Now you got something called red lobster, with a nasty lobster. You can clearly see it's not lawful. Yeah, the sea roaches. Sea roaches. Right? Again, it's a perfect point that you made. The shrimp, the roach, the crab, they're the same thing on land, but they're known as different names. You got the spider. Again, you got the roach, these different things. But it's just different in the sea. Why? Because the Lord is a just balance. He got the sea. Oh, you got a point?
The lobsters even know they're not supposed to be in there.
Yeah.
Because when you go in there and see them, they really like fighting for their life. Yeah. They know they're not supposed to be in there.
That's right.
They know they're not supposed to be in there.
Yeah, but you got the so-called white man. What does he do? He says, to hell with what the Lord said, I'm gonna do my own thing. And I don't know if you knew this too, but back in slavery, they actually fed us the things that the chillings, the same things that the Lord said don't eat. They fed that to us.
Right.
At first, before shrimp was a delicacy, that was slave food. The crab, the lobster, because they know that these things are filthy, so that's why they fed it to us. Now that we're out of the chains, our mind is in spiritual bondage. Now we thinking that's, hey man, I don't know why, but my aunt, they always eat this. Down south, they just love the chillings. And they don't know why. Well, that's because your ancestors was eating pork and chitlins, and they didn't have a choice to. But you know, our people, they make, our people, they make everything good. So now they say, you know what, I'm gonna add this seasoning, and I'm gonna add the hot sauce. I'm gonna sprinkle a little of this right there. Now all of a sudden it's a delight. Right now we got them bacon, egg, and cheese, and all these different things went from the foundation. Our people hated that. You got a point, a precept?
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 44. Yeah. For I am the Lord, Yahweh, your God. Right. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourself, and ye shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall he defile yourself.
Neither shall you what?
Neither shall he defile yourself.
Eating defiled meat.
Neither ye shall defile yourself.
The Lord said, don't defile yourself by eating defiled meats. Right, read.
With any manner of creeping things.
With what?
With any manner of creeping things.
No eating nasty bugs. Right, read.
That creep it up on the earth.
Right.
For I am Yahweh, thy God, bringing you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy.
Right, and we should be holy because the Most High so. And that's us being holy vessels, set apart. We shouldn't be indulgent in what the world has to offer us. The shrimp, the bright lights, right? All the different women, all these other nations. We shouldn't be enticed by that. Why? Because we know that, like you said earlier, it's all an illusion. We all, hey, to be honest, this is the Matrix.
Yeah, even space is fake.
Yeah, that's yeah. You want to really go into it? All that landed on the moon.
Yeah, God said this is the firmament over us. And I already know. Like I know this. That's why I gotta make my way to God, because I know this shit is off.
That's right.
This shit is off.
That's right. And it's that, like you said, you want to be able to make your way to the Lord. You want to be able to make your way to God. And knowing that, you want to know that it's other false gods that these people set up, like this image right here. But
That
you want to
means earth pig. That name means earth pig.
say earth, yeah, Jesus, yeah.
Yes, it means earth pig.
Yeah, they named the earthly pig. That's right. And guess what? When you actually go into it, this man right here is the actual man that walked the earth.
Yeah, I know.
Caesar Borgia.
That's why I started realizing this shit is crazy. When I started really looking into it, I was like, wait, this whole shit is off. It made me have to sit back to the point my family cut me off. They don't even talk because I'm not into none of this stuff.
Hey, everybody go through that,
My
man.
mom don't talk to me. Nobody talks to me.
Right, everybody.
My sister cut me off,
Give me
everybody.
Jeremiah 15 and 10. I believe that's Jeremiah 15 and 10. Brother, welcome to the club, brother.
That's right.
You go through the same things. You start running new things. You find out that you're an Israelite. God shows some people. You find out your history. Everything makes sense. Okay, so we went into slavery because we broke God's laws. Then okay, A, B, and C. Now you buying other books, going into the history. You see how the so-called white man calls us the so-called black Jews. Then you're linking up the Jews with the Bible, the time periods, what nation people actually, you linking it all up and it makes sense.
And the shit about the truth that I discovered in this shit, like, the truth is always the truth. You can go back as far as you want, but a lie can only go back as far as where it started. You can't take a lie back any further than that. And for it to go further, you gotta make up more lies.
That's right.
And that's when I started seeing this shit like, wait a minute, shit is off.
That's right. And like you said, when you start running these different things, you tell somebody you expect them to be excited. Like, okay, you're right.
They get mad.
They get mad. That truth hurt. Let's read this.
This the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15, verse 10. Woe is me, my mother.
My who?
My mother.
He said, woe is me, meaning destruction and death and sorrow unto me. He said, my mother, read.
That thou hast borne me a man of strife.
He said his own mother called him a man of strife. A man of contention, his own mother. Jeremiah, when you read the precepts, Jeremiah was a loner. Why? Because he had the truth. And he tried to tell, in the book I'm reading that right now, that's a fire book. He's telling everybody the truth. Hey, the Lord said that the Babylonians is coming to so-called besiege our nation. Long behold, before that happened, he was prophesying it. Then you go into the history, 586, right, 597 BC. What happened? The Babylonians, they came and they ransacked Jerusalem, our people. And before that, you had Jeremiah telling everybody. But read that again. What does mother say?
That thou hast borne me a man of strife and a man of contention,
right,
to the whole earth.
To the what?
To the whole earth.
What are we?
To the whole earth.
And that's what they look at us as. Man of strife and contention to the whole earth.
Like we're negative.
Right, like we negative. Hey, you literally had a sister walk past. She said, stop teaching to hate the white man. Why y'all always teaching against the white man? No, the white man is my master.
Not teaching people.
We're not this is really love.
That's right.
But what happens when you teach love to your own people, everybody else counts it as hate. Because why? Because what do? We put our own people first. Before you can go and start teaching a white man or teaching a Chinese man, you gotta focus on your own people.
Right.
If I wanna build up a nation, it starts with me. First it start with me, then it start with my household. Okay, now I gotta get my household in order. Then it start with my people. And when all this, that's how you build up a nation. When a so-called white man and a white woman and the Chinese people come up, we tell them, we honestly tell them that's not for you. The Lord, this Bible is not for you. He said he's the God of Israel last time. He never said he's the God of everybody. Nowhere in his book do you read, okay, I'm the God of the Moabites, the Hamites, the Hagarians, the Girgash. No, he says I'm the God of the Israelites. That's our God. We're his people, and this is our book. This is our heritage that we're coming back to. So let's read this. You got a point?
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 15. He is grievous unto us, even to behold.
Right.
For his life is not like other men's.
Right, and this is what the so-called other races, namely the so-called white race, how they think about our people. Now the Lord, he knows all. This is written by Solomon. Solomon is the wisest man that ever walked the earth. He knows the thoughts of these other people. He said, read that again from the top.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 15. He is grievous unto us.
So these people say we're grievous unto them. Why they coming out here shaking their hand, waking up the so-called black people? Right, read.
Even to behold. Even to behold.
Right.
For his life is not like other men's.
Right.
His ways are of another fashion.
Right.
We are esteemed of him as counterfeits.
Right.
He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed.
Hey, he said that these other people profane our ways as filthiness, meaning their ways is filthiness, and they look at us a certain type of way because we don't want to be indulged in filthiness. Since when do you look at somebody else and envy them because they don't want to get them what you got going on?
That's how it's designed.
That's how it's designed. And King Solomon knew that from the foundation. Right, read.
And maketh his boast that God is his father.
Right, and we know that the Most High is our Father. We make boast of that. They say, man, they say that the God is with them. The God of the Israelites is with them. But what about, well, I got my gods. I got Zeus. Right, I got Poseidon. Right, I got so-called Baal and these different gods. Wait, hey, well, we boast in the God of the heavens, the God of the Israelites, right, whose name is Yahweh. Right, read.
Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him.
Right.
For if the just man be the son of God, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies.
Right.
Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience.
And didn't they do that to us? Examine us with tortures and despitefulness. And this is only pictures going into the so-called recent captivities. 1492, you had the so-called Hispanics and Native Americans going to slavery when Christopher Columbus and the rest of those devils came and they put our Northern Kingdom brothers in slavery. But even before that, you had something called the Assyrian Empire that came up against Israel in 722 BC, and they put our brothers in slavery. They put the so-called Hispanics in slavery in 722, and they ransacked by the hand of the so-called Assyrian king Salmanassar V. Right, read.
Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. Such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness have blinded them.
Right, that's it on that. But nevertheless, you have all these different things and atrocities that these other nations, they already planned out. Hey, believe it or not, we was in Chicago. I asked the so-called white man, do you meditate tears upon your bed against so-called black people? He said, yeah. He turned around like it was, he said, yeah. Then I asked, the next day, it was a so-called white woman, asked the same thing. She said, yeah. And that's just an average so-called white man and white woman. How much more these elites that can set up and run everything, who the society is made to crumble and perish? All these things happen because while we're waking up to our people, while we're waking the so-called black and Hispanic up, teaching them that we're God's chosen people, gotta separate from America, separate from this world, come back to your God. Right. Come back to your coaches. Right, let's get one more law, let's get Exodus 20 again.
T-Chuck.
Come back to the tribes, that's right. Let's get Sirach 36 and verse 11.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Another commandment is the Sabbath day, right? The Lord's holy day. He said, keep it holy. Read on.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work.
And the Sabbath day will be Saturday. Why? Because he said the 7th day of the week. That's another lie that the church told us, was that it was on Sunday. Right, you go to church on Sunday, you praise the Lord and white Jesus on Sunday. They pass that nasty collection plate around 5 times, and you keep putting your last quarter in the collection plate. You tell the pastor, the Sunday is the first day of the week. But why do they say it's the last day? And this is the day for you to throw all your, throw 10% of your check for me. We was in, what was that, Harlem? I believe that was Harlem. I was in front of a church and I was talking to the pastor. He was like, and I was talking to, I don't know if he was a dick, he was somebody there. But he said, hey, the pastor gonna come up. Now he might tell y'all to move, but you know it's the pastor. When you see him pull up in a light, I forget what car, I think it's like a light blue Benz. And that's when you know it's the pastor. You got the pastor pulling up in a light blue Benz when your grandma put in her last cent to get on the bus to get to the church. That's wicked. Where's all this collection so-called alms going to? The pastor pulling up in a Benz, he got the nicest suit. He preaching, that's right. You got TD Snakes buying jets. Yeah, they be fly, buying jets. Got the biggest mega church. When did the Lord say you have a mega church? Last time I checked the Lord, when he was walking the earth, he didn't have a mega church. He was walking around on foot or on a donkey. He didn't have these. Say what? That's us. That's right. Hey, you read that in John, the 18th chapter. He said he ever spoke to the world, and the Jews. I mean, when the temples where the Jews always resort. Talked to that brother before. You back, brother? Yeah. See that? And that's why a lot of, at the same time, that's why a lot of our people gotta die as well. We had men like that had these things happen to us because they didn't want to come back to the. He know that he's an Israelite. He knows supposed to be keeping the commandments. You see, he just turned. He said, nah. And also, he doing that to the Lord. The Lord sees all of this. The Lord sees the brothers up here listening, hearken, getting fat off the word. And at the same time, again, you got sisters come up and scoff, trying to vouch for the white man. Brothers that know that they're Israelites turn their back, say, yeah, you know that. I know all this, but I'm gonna do my own thing. And again, you can't make this up. You have people back then that knew that they was Israelites that didn't want to serve the Lord. Which is why we got put into what? The so-called Egyptian captivity, Assyrian captivity, 722, Babylonia, 597. You had the so-called Achaemenid Empire, the Persian and Medes, the Greeks in 331. The Romans came back around, they put us in captivity. We keep going this because we keep doing the same thing. And as brother, that's right. And again, they're not gonna teach you that in school. But the next brother, he about to come up. He about to give you way more wisdom than I can ever give you. Right, we're gonna smooth transitions. Come on, y'all, show.